Welcome to this special edition of the IFAR video newsletter. We're here in Deauville, France, where our theme is going to be the healing power of the thoroughbred. We're going to be finding out why the thoroughbred is particularly well suited to a post-racing career in equine-assisted services or equine therapy, and looking at some case studies from Australia and the USA which showcase the powerful effect that thoroughbreds can have on humans, whether they be military veterans or aspiring Olympians. But first, we're going to look at some research which explains why the thoroughbred is uniquely equipped for such work. And for that, we've come to Deauville and a symposium entitled The Universal Language of the Horse.
Probably about 99% of our therapy team are retired racehorses. And we find that the retired racehorses, in comparison to the two small ponies that we have, are fabulous horses. They're absolutely the best breed for equine assisted therapy.
And having a horse involved with your recovery is so important because a horse is literally a mirror. It is so perceptive to all of your energy levels. It perceives your behavior. It detects unnatural behavior. It trusts natural behavior.
But for people that are most hurt, these are the horses that are going to react the most. You're going to get more out of a thoroughbred than you are out of any other horse. The best horses that I've ever worked with for groundwork or therapy horses are these guys. They're fantastic horses. And you know, when you think about it, they're probably the horses that most people think, no, thoroughbred, you can't, that wouldn't be good for it. Wrong. These are the guys.
Well, the study we're carrying at the University of Bristol and Racing to Relate started in 2021 and is about the selection, education, welfare of thoroughbred in equine-assisted services program. We had 129 respondents all across the world in 15 countries. We also gathered in very detailed information on 427 horses, including 57 thoroughbreds. So equine-assisted services is the use of horses to benefit humans, and it includes some ridden or on-ground activities. Thoroughbreds have very specific characteristics that make them interesting for equine-assisted services. The first one I'm thinking about is reactivity. Practitioners like horses, thoroughbred, to be reactive during equine-assisted services session because at least from what they told us, they know exactly when the horse reacts, what he feels from the session, and he interacts with the person. And it's very helpful for their work to benefit people. According to our respondents, experience is also very important. And they said that some of their clients relate to the past experience of thoroughbred. Another characteristic that was cited by our respondent is the horse sensitivity. We don't really know what is behind it yet, and that's something we want to explore in phase 2.
Racing Hearts is an equine-assisted psychology and counselling practice. We're predominantly based in Melbourne in Australia, but we actually run programs in multiple states around the country. Our mental health practitioners see anywhere between 200 and 300 clients per week, and those people are people in our local communities who are struggling with the challenges of mental health and stress in general. We have our youngest clients that come to us are between 6 and 7 years of age, and our eldest clients are in their 70s. So we see people right through the lifespan with a whole range of challenges, and each individual client gets what they need from their relationship with the horse. They are so sensitive and they're so in tune with humans because they've seen so much in their racing career. You know, all horses live in present awareness, but thoroughbreds in particular, because they are so much more aware than the other breeds that we've actually engaged in equine therapy. And that's probably the most special part of what we do, is assisting people form really healthy relationships in their lives based on their relationships with the horses in therapy.
As well as Lisa Coffey and Racing Hearts, another operation doing amazing work in Australia is Equine Pathways. Founded in 2017 in the state of Victoria, Equine Pathways are helping many people get a second chance and more, as is the case with Abby Vidler, who has hopes of reaching the 2028 Paralympics with the help of a horse called Retaliation. A dual winner on the track in the colours of Godolphin, he's now accomplishing, arguably, an even more important role.
Tally, he's really working well with Abby. So we've sort of targeted him towards her so she can use him as a horse to train with. Abby doesn't have any hands, so he's learning how to communicate with her and he really wants to learn.
This is a very new relationship between us, and he's also still settling into life here. But I think he's a very special pony. He's definitely got a very inquisitive nature.
I think the empathy that the horses have with the disabled athletes is probably even stronger than we have for a variety of reasons. I think the horses realise that they have to be a little more in tune, and the athletes also have to really have a different level of communication with the horses because they can't use the normal aids and skills that we do.
Would love for him to go out and compete. I think he would definitely be one of those horses that could go out and, potentially do very, very well.
I can guarantee you, everyone that comes here for the first time, at some point through the weekend will cry. It's just happy tears, but it's just such, see, I'm starting now. It's such an inspiring place to be. An unexpected example of the benefits of working with former racehorses has come in projects involving prisoners, and there have been some very encouraging results in Ireland and the USA. Based in New York State, the Wallkill Correctional Facility is a medium security prison, and it's here that the Thoroughbred Retirement Foundation delivers a programme bringing together ex-racehorses and prisoners to give them both a second chance.
I wasn't aware that the program even existed. I had never worked with horses before.
I was petrified at first, and I'm not really scared of many things.
They're locked in most of the time when they're not out with us from 8:30 to 2:30 every day. So those other times when they're inside, they're not themselves. But when they step foot out here at 8:30 in the morning, they change. They're totally different people.
I didn't know it was going to be such an emotional thing. And you really do kind of bond with the animals, and they look for you to be there for them.
Definitely a game changer for being someone who's incarcerated and always being around grown men, different behaviors, and not being able to actually express your feelings to them. You come out here, you can do that with the animals.
But then I got out here and I met a whole new family. I didn't even know I could drive a tractor. I didn't know I could mow a lawn. Anything to make this place look better, to make it better for the horses.
At the end of the day, it's all for the horse.
All for the horses.
I did get a letter saying that some people were interested in employing me, so that's just everything I'm hoping for right now.
I talk to them, I speak to them about things that I don't speak to people about in there. I can feel like they actually relate to me, and the same second chance that they're given, I feel like I'm getting.
When we started Horseback, we were going to use American horses because we were very focused on the physically injured, not the mentally injured. And so we were very focused on giving people mobility with dignity. That's what we called it. Okay, because most of these people they'd been injured by IEDs, improvised explosive devices. Very quickly, we understood that it wasn't the riding that was really making the difference for these individuals. What was making the difference was forming a team, a bond with one of these guys. Okay, because it's the first time for many of them that they had been able to do that with anything outside a screen or a TV. So I was very lucky to start working with ROR, and we got given some Thoroughbreds to work with. And instantly we saw that the sensitivity and intelligence of these horses made them fantastic horses for the ground. I mean, the amount of interaction you're going to get from a Thoroughbred is way higher than any other horse I know. It really is. He's highly sensitive. Many of these horses share the same journey as the individuals that we are trying to help. But the truth is that these guys were part of a team. They were in a yard and they knew the environment. Every so often they had to go and do something really intense, which they love. And that was very similar to the life of the military people, which is the first group that we really engaged with. And then all of a sudden they get injured and they can't do what they're born to do, what gives them an identity. And so the story of the Thoroughbreds immediately linked the military personnel into, horses.
I was in our operation Iraqi Freedom, 06, 07. I was detainee ops at Abu Ghraib, and I worked with an MP battalion. We were in a hostile fire zone, and so that involves making sure that we do whatever needs to be done. When I came back, I ended up having some anxiety issues, and I didn't really think I did. It actually took my mom coming with me to one of my appointments, because my mom actually told the doctor hey, there's something wrong with him. You know, here I am, I'm thinking I'm fine. I'm trying to deny the fact that I'm struggling with some anxiety, and so I got some counseling. And while at the VA, the recreational therapists there had worked closely with Bravehearts, and so when they brought veterans out to the farm there, I went with them. I love horses. I mean, I always have loved horses, but then when I thought, oh my gosh, here I am getting recreational therapy with horses at the hospital, I'm going. You know, I have no physical injuries, thank God. I came back from Iraq and I'm 100% physically fine, you know, and I just have a few adjustments to make here. And so the horse, the impact the horse has made is basically by forcing me to pay attention to how I behave around that horse. Working with horses is something that 100% of the population can benefit from.
And to sign off from this Normandy edition of the IFAR video newsletter, we join the veterans from Braveheart on their 20-kilometre ride from Utah Beach. The same beach that 79 years ago witnessed the D-Day landings, and remarkably 40 veterans from that day have flown out to raise awareness of the challenges facing the modern-day soldier and to share the message that horses can change people's lives for the better.
The statistic is there's roughly 20 veterans that commit suicide every day. That's a lot. So the idea is we want to ride a mile, or now that we're here, a kilometer, for every veteran that commits suicide every day, to bring awareness as well as the fact that there's help. So we want to draw attention to the fact that veterans are committing suicide, and we also want to draw attention to the fact that there is help for them. We tend to treat horses better than we treat each other, but if we were to treat people like we treated horses, the whole world would be a better place.